So Jason, you are one of the chefs who brought Ben's Friends to Richmond. What is Ben's Friends?
Ben's Friends is a support group for people in the food and beverage industry that are suffering with addiction, whether it's alcoholism or other forms of addiction. So it really is just a bridge, hopefully, for people who are either trying to get or stay sober.
Bill, what is it about the industry that supports someone's habit if they are an alcoholic?
Everything. You created food, you had this magic there, but then you had built-in party buddies. And I mean, there's, a bar that you have at work. It's just there.
And it's everyone. It's from the kitchen staff to the wait staff, the bartenders. It's a little bit of everyone.
It's everybody, hostess to dishwasher. I went to the Culinary Institute, and they said, welcome, the person to the left and the person to the right of you, 5 years will not be in this industry. The rest of you, congratulations. 1 in 7 will not develop an alcohol or drug problem. 1 in 7. That stuck with me. It's like, well, I'll be that one, but I wasn't.
But there's so many other environmental impacts, right? So there's the stress of the job, there's the immediacy of the work, there's the long hours, alcohol numbs pain, your knees are hurting, your feet are hurting, there's always a reason. Part of the issue for me, especially in early sobriety, was access, because as a restaurant owner, there was nobody that could really tell me that I couldn't drink. So I had to really work on that and work on a lot of different coping mechanisms and a lot of brutal honesty with myself about, how I was going to be able to continue in this industry. I don't really know how to do anything else. And with a lot of employees, people that rely on me, I had to figure it out. But it's challenging. It really is. That's really why Ben's Friends exists, because it is. I would never say it's more difficult in this industry to get or stay sober, but it's a really unique set of environmental factors, for sure.
What issues did you have over the years?
I'm an alcoholic. If I had my choice, I would have knocked down about 5 drinks before this just to loosen up, to be personable, just to be, calm, to, knock that fear, to just because that's what I do. If there's something different, drink. If there's something the same, drink. If it's Monday, drink. Whatever reason. I didn't really need one. I just drank.
Substance abuse disorder is rampant in our industry. The founders of Ben's Friends in Charleston, Steve Palmer and Mickey Baxt, are both extremely high-performing, very, very successful people in the restaurant industry, and they're successful in the restaurant industry because of their sobriety. And that was such a motivating and inspiring thing for me to see. Most of us in this industry don't really have an option to do something else. Some people can step away from it and do another job, start another career. But seeing how successful they were because of their sobriety was incredibly inspiring. So being as involved in the restaurant industry as I have been here for the last 19 years, I guess I've been in town, I knew it would be great for me, and I hoped that it would be great for other people to have that support, that specific support for people that are in the food and beverage world. And it's working. We're seeing a lot of people that are coming and really getting benefit out of it. I get so much benefit out of it, it's crazy. But yeah, there's a real need. We're sort of at crisis point.
Jason, who have you lost?
I've lost a few to overdose, and I've lost a few to, health-related problems due to alcoholism. And that was really the impetus behind Ben's Friends starting. Ben Murray, who was a chef in South Carolina, didn't make it through his struggle with addiction, and Steve and Mickey, they just kind of drew a hard line in the sand, and it's expanding into cities from as far southeast as Atlanta all the way up to Seattle. We've got tons of cities and adding more cities next year to try and mitigate that loss. This is life-saving stuff.
It seems that substance abuse disorder in the industry is sort of the best kept secret that's now being talked about more.
Everything that we can do to decrease those sort of negative feelings the worry about what people are going to think about you if you come out as having issues, whether or not you're going to be able to keep your job, what is your family going to think, like all these things that kind of swirl in your head. It takes strength to admit that you have a problem. It's not a sign of weakness. You know, if you're going into recovery, it's not that you can't handle your booze. It's that you have a problem and you need help. You need the support of other people who are also sober to have any chance of success. So that's one of the things that we do every Monday at 10.
What can someone find with Ben's Friends that maybe another 12-step program doesn't offer?
It's not an I program. I can't do this. You know, this is a we program. You know, we can. You know, we can if we give ourselves a chance.
We have a lot of resources that we can share with people. Ideally, Monday at 10 at Heritage is part of a more robust recovery plan. You know, it's part of that. It's another thing that you can sort of add to your arsenal to keep you sober.
This is another hour I can stay sober.
How long have you been sober?
Been sober 10 and a half years. I'll be 11 years in March.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's huge.
What about you?
Blows my mind every time I say that out
Yeah.
loud.
I am 2 months shy of 3 years. It's great. You know, I think the big thing that Ben's Friends allows me to do through, you know, therapy and through connection with other people who are also in recovery, it allows me to be active in that process. And for me, that's when I feel at my best. Trying to kind of fix some of these neural pathways that maybe dug pretty deep over 25, 30 years of active alcoholism. So it's a process. I don't think that I can ever talk enough about the optimism that comes from sobriety. Connection is such a huge thing in success. Optimism actually kind of comes back. Like it slowly works its way back into your life. And that's a really great feeling. Like if you can start replacing shame and anxiety with optimism and hope, like that's a completely different life.
If someone's watching this that, you know, they say maybe today is a day I might check that out, why would you encourage them to check out Ben's Friends?
And if there's anything that we can do, either through Ben's Friends or just kind of in our lives, that can help people maybe recognize these problems before they get as dark as some of us got, like how beautiful would that be, right? If you could, if somebody can make a decision to save their lives before it gets really gnarly, like that would be awesome. One of the things that we say before every meeting is, we believe you can do it if you just give yourself the chance. And I think that there's something that's really beautiful about that statement, because it puts the onus on the individual, but in a hopeful way. It's not you have to quit drinking. It's you have an opportunity if you allow yourself the chance.